When should you not buy organic foods? We live in a world where the word organic is often seen as a golden ticket to health. But is that always true? Today, I want to share something a little surprising. There are actually certain foods you don't need to buy organic. Spending extra money doesn't always mean you're buying more health. In fact, sometimes it's just a clever marketing strategy. I know many of us feel guilty if we don't pick the organic label, as if we're somehow harming our bodies. I've been there too, standing at the grocery aisle, holding two versions of the same product, one twice the price of the other, and wondering if I'm being irresponsible by choosing the cheaper one. But here's the truth. Some foods naturally have the ability to protect themselves, or simply don't gain any real benefit from carrying the organic label. 1. What does organic mean? Before diving into the list, let's clear up 3 different definitions. Organic means no synthetic chemicals, no pesticides, no herbicides, and no fungicides. For livestock, it also means no antibiotics and clean feed. Sounds wonderful, right? But here's where the confusion begins. Foods made with organic ingredients. What does that mean? It means at least 70% of the product must be organic. Then, if it simply says organic, that means at least 95% of the ingredients must be organic. And finally, 100% organic means exactly what it says: all ingredients are organic. And then you run into tricky areas like hydroponics, where vegetables are grown in water instead of soil. Technically, some of these are certified organic. Personally, I struggle with that. Soil is a living system. It contains bacteria and minerals that water just can't match. So when I see organic hydroponic lettuce, I can't help but think this is more about rules than true nutrition. And here's another disappointment: organic junk food. Imagine organic Pop-Tarts. They're still sugar bombs. Organic sugar is still sugar. You don't suddenly become healthier just because you're eating the organic version of a candy bar. That's just marketing dressed up as wellness. 13 foods you do not need to buy organic. When should you not buy organic foods? Today, we're going to talk about 13 foods you should never bother buying organic. They're simply not worth it. You'd be paying 50 to 80% more for the organic label when it's really unnecessary. Here's something interesting. For certain foods, even if you slap on the organic sticker, they're no different from the regular version. To put it bluntly, it's just a way to drain your wallet, not a way to add health benefits. So which foods are on that list? Let's go through them together. First, sea salt. Salt is a mineral. No insects or pests eat salt, so buying organic sea salt is like buying organic rocks. What really matters is the source. Himalayan pink salt, Celtic sea salt, natural mineral salts rich in trace elements. Next, wild-caught salmon. No one can control what a salmon in the ocean eats. So putting the word organic on a wild fish is a bit ridiculous. What really matters is whether the salmon is truly wild-caught. Third, avocados. With their thick skin, avocados are like wearing armor. Chemicals and pesticides don't reach the creamy flesh inside. Honestly, buying organic avocados only empties your wallet. It doesn't change much in terms of benefit. Then come hard-shelled nuts like walnuts, Brazil nuts, macadamias, and pecans. Nature already gave them an excellent protective shell. Organic or not, the nut inside is barely affected. Cabbage and bananas are the same. With cabbage, peel off the outer leaves and you've already removed most of the spray. With bananas, that thick peel is its natural barrier, simple, cheap, and effective. One of the funniest cases is baking soda. It's just sodium bicarbonate, a natural mineral, never sprayed with pesticides. Yet some people sell organic baking soda. All you need is food-grade baking soda from a reliable source. Coconuts also make the list. Anyone who has cracked one knows how tough that shell is. No pesticide is going to seep through to the white flesh inside. Instead of chasing the organic label, focus on freshness and origin. Then we have bottled organic water. Just the sound of it is odd. Water doesn't get pests. No one sprays pesticides into water. So organic water is like saying organic air. What truly matters is the source: natural, clean, mineral-rich, and safe. And finally, wild game meat. Deer, wild boar, or rabbits live in the forest, foraging freely. No one manages them to stick an organic label on their backs. So the idea of organic wild game is meaningless. What matters is whether the meat is legally sourced, safe, and traceable. I could list many more, but let's save them for another video. Some foods are already safe and naturally protected. If you know the difference, you'll save money and avoid falling for marketing tricks. Don't let the word organic make you feel guilty or force you to overspend. Stay mindful, choose wisely, and let your money go toward what truly matters. Foods you should buy organic. In the previous section, we talked about foods that don't really need to be bought organic, where the label is sometimes nothing more than a pricey gimmick. But on the other hand, there are foods where choosing non-organic means you're letting your body absorb a whole load of harmful chemicals every single day. Let's go through the list of foods that you truly should buy organic if you care about your health. First, peanuts. Peanuts have a very thin shell and grow underground right where fungicides and pesticides are heavily applied. Because of that, they act like sponges, soaking up those chemicals inside. If you eat peanuts regularly and they're not organic, you're also consuming the chemical residue along with them. Next, fruits like strawberries, grapes, apples, and cherries. These fruits have almost no protective layer. Pesticides cling directly to the surface and easily seep into the flesh. So if you don't choose organic, every bite of a strawberry could mean an extra dose of chemicals entering your body. Third, coffee and tea, two of the most common beverages people consume daily. Yet few know that coffee and tea are among the most heavily sprayed crops in the world. Since they are a daily habit, choosing organic becomes even more important. It's a small investment with a big payoff for your long-term health. Fourth, chocolate, or more precisely, cacao beans. Cacao is usually grown in hot, humid tropical climates where mold is a constant threat. That's why cacao is often treated with a cocktail of chemicals to preserve it. If you're a chocolate lover, switching to organic cacao won't necessarily make it taste better, but it will definitely give you peace of mind. Next, leafy greens, especially spinach. Leafy greens are among the most heavily sprayed vegetables. The danger is even greater because you eat the leaf itself, no peel, no protective barrier. If you eat greens often, you may be taking in far more than you realize. That's why organic leafy greens, particularly spinach, are a smart choice. Next is cotton. Cotton is another major commercial crop that is heavily sprayed with chemicals. The issue is that cotton products like sanitary pads come into direct contact with your body, which means you could be exposed to these chemicals and residues may be absorbed. Then there's also clothing and bed sheets made from cotton, so this is another thing to keep in mind. There may be residues, especially in sanitary products and cotton items made for infants. That's why it's best to make sure they are organic. And finally, cereal grains like wheat, oats, and lentils. Many people think buying non-GMO is safe enough, but the truth is harsher. Even wheat or oats that are non-GMO are often sprayed with glyphosate, a powerful herbicide, just before harvest to dry them quickly. This is a detail most people don't know, but it's a serious concern. Glyphosate, not GMOs, is the real hidden danger. Many confuse non-GMO with organic. They sound similar, but the difference is huge. A product labeled non-GMO only means it wasn't genetically modified. It does not mean it's free from chemicals. Take wheat, oats, buckwheat, or lentils, for example. Before harvest, farmers often spray glyphosate not to kill pests, but simply to speed up drying. That means when you eat non-GMO cereals, you may still be consuming glyphosate without even realizing it. That's why if you're eating wheat, oats, lentils, or beans, you should make sure they are organic. Only then are they both non-GMO and free from harmful chemicals. This is one of the most important distinctions people often overlook. Now that you have a clearer understanding of the downside of the non-GMO label, the next important question is, what should you eat to absorb the most nutrients for your body? This is what truly determines long-term health, not just the debate of organic or not organic. To explore this further, I've prepared a video right here. Click and watch it. Now you'll be surprised at the nutrient-rich foods you may have been overlooking. So, were you surprised by this list? What kind of products do you usually choose when shopping at the supermarket? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video gave you useful insights, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so we can continue discovering many more fascinating things about health and nutrition together.